Vladimir. Thank you so much for being here. I'll try to keep this short. I know you're probably hungry. So yeah, I describe myself as an entrepreneur, but I got here to talk to you as a product manager, as a person who's building products. How many people in the room are involved in product building? Whether they Cool. So this talk is mainly it's mainly for you, and it's mainly for us. So yeah, I started a bunch of companies. Most of them were unsuccessful. Some of them were quite successful. Now I'm doing another one. It's called hipster. It's a mobile app that helps you remember stuff better. I encourage you to check it out. Cool. So I think products are great. The way I look at products is they are containers of value that we can distribute at scale. And with digital products, we can reach millions and millions of people, which is amazing, especially if you care about, I don't know, the meaning of your life. Because I strongly believe that the best way to change the world for the better is through the products that we create. And it also happens that if we do that very, very well, we can create a lot of wealth for ourselves or for the community that we are a part of. So products are great, and we're so grateful to be doing what we're doing. But while we have some notable successes, I don't think as this part of Europe, I don't think we're doing that great. I mean, we talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk, and most of our outcomes are quite shy. I mean, yeah, we have UiPath, and there are a bunch of other companies that have made it, but if we look at it as a whole, we don't really make a lot of great products. So why is that? Who's to blame? Is it the user? Because I don't know, the users are kind of stupid and they don't know how to use our brilliant products. Yeah, I know. No, I mean, one of the things that I like, the sayings that I like the most in product management is the users use the product the way we designed it. So if we want better products, we have to take ownership. So our products reflect the values that we as product people bring to the table, and they are directly correlated with the quality of our methods and the methodologies that we use to create those products. So I take the stance of what I call extreme ownership. I think that if we want more successful products, if we want to be more successful product managers, product marketers, product whatever, if we think that we need better products as for ourselves, for our companies, for the country, I think we have to start by looking into the mirror. And under this umbrella term that I called extreme ownership, I want to focus on 3 choices that we as a community, I think, have to make. And I said choices, not decisions. Because in most companies, decisions come from a place of consensus. And I think choices come from a place of commitment. And decisions usually take things forward, but choices are hard. Choices deal with making a decisions between options that are equally valid at the first glance, right? Should I build this feature or this feature? If that's a real choice, you should lose sleep no matter which choice you picked, because those are hard, right? Choices are what makes us effective. Decisions are more about efficiency. So I want to focus on 3 major things that exist under this umbrella term called extreme ownership. The first category is what I call the stakeholder circles of influence. So we as product people have to make a lot of stakeholders happy, right? We have to make our users happy, we have to make our clients happy, and those categories may not be the same type of people. Our internal teams, whether it's, I don't know, marketing, our management, the shareholders, investors, the public at large, press. I mean, lots and lots of people with different interests that are surrounding us, like in this picture, and they exert a certain level of influence depending on how close or away from us they are. So I look at these stakeholders as inputs, right? That this is kind of the information that we work with. And no matter how brilliant we are, how visionary we are, how amazing our methods are, the value of our output, meaning the products that we work on, is going to be correlated with the value of our inputs. So that means that not all stakeholders should be treated the same. We have to discriminate. We have a limited amount of attention, and if we're good product managers, we have to make a choice. That choice is, who should we focus our attention to, right? So who should we focus our attention to? That's an easy question. Who should be the main stakeholder for any product person? Come on. The user, yes. I mean, like, of course, you read that on the first page of every product management book, right? It says the user, the user, the user. Everyone talks about the user. This whole conference is about the user. But do we really put the user front and center? I mean, like, if you work in a company, who's your main stakeholder? Like, for real. It's your boss, in most cases. And his stakeholder is his boss, and so on and so forth. And in a lot of companies, the user is that guy who appears on all the PowerPoint presentation, but in reality, he's the person bugging the support team or the person who appear in a spreadsheet for the salespeople. The user is not very well represented. And I understand why that happens. I mean, it's normal. Every big company turns into a bureaucracy, and you have to manage that. It's super, super hard. The same kind of goes for startups, which is surprising to me. I mean, like, you can say that a big company has a lot of bureaucracy and a lot of rules and hierarchies that have to be navigated, but a startup doesn't have any of that. And surprisingly enough, a lot of the startups here do the same mistake. While they don't have a lot of like internal stakeholders, they have stakeholders nonetheless. They have other founders that they hang out with. They have investors. There's the press. And what happens in the corporation kind of happens in the startups as well. I see a lot of startups who they spend like 80% of their time attending all sorts of conferences. They go to all the pitches. They win all the diplomas. They act like beauty queens, not businesses. Very few of them is like, oh, I cannot go to this conference because I have to talk to 100 users, or I have this growth test that I have to run, and I'm going to skip this, I don't know, pitch, because there's probably going to be one next week, right? And it's easy to point the finger and say like bad, but I think that this is very, very deep, because as a society, we're very collectivistic in nature. I mean, we judge ourselves by how we are being seen by other people, right? By how, I don't know, how other person inside of our group looks at us more than our individual contribution. So I really think that in order for us to be better product managers, better product people, we have to make the good choice. And this good choice is, I have to spend my time focusing on the user, whether it's doing interviews, whether it's doing testing, whether it's doing whatever, rather than just managing the machine. I mean, the solutions are easy, you probably know them, but very few of us actually do them because life. But while what I'm saying right now may seem like a basic advice, making the right choice here will definitely impact your value moving forward. The next huge choice that I want to focus on is interface over technology. And this is probably more of a local thing. But we're obsessed with technology here in this part of Europe. Most of the time, both companies, startups, tend to overemphasize technology and downplay the user experience. And I'm here to make the argument that that's the wrong choice. You see, technology, the way I look at technology, technology is an amplifier. So it works best when it has a purpose. Without that purpose, technology is useless. Users don't care about technology. I mean, Bob Moesta talked about the whole analogy, but it's the same with all our products. Nobody cares whether we're using blockchain or AI or machine learning or whatever. But that purpose is what we bring to the table, and that purpose is usually explained better through interface or the way the product works. I'm not talking about what colors to use. That's irrelevant. It's how the product works. So you have to bring that to the table. Another reason that we kind of like technology over interfaces is that technology is a shortcut. Going back to our collectivistic nature, we like to be in the hype train, right? That's why, a lot of startups say, we're a machine learning startup. Like, who cares if you're a machine learning or you're just using whatever, blockchain or databases or... so we like to get some of that gravitas that exists with all the hype trains that there are. And it's not just the startups or the companies. Investors like to put money in certain industries just because it's fashionable in some states. But that's not where the value is being produced. Companies that are killing it are companies that care about the user experience, and they also happen to be using one of those technology, but they use it purposely. The other very important reason to care about user experience over technology is that a lot of the problems that we are solving these days are not as easy as 10 years ago. When I did my startups 10 years ago, most of us were working on functional problems, right? The products that we put forward had to be faster, they had to reduce costs, the number of features kind of was correlated with the value. Nowadays, the world is a little bit more complicated. We have to deal with social problems, emotional problems. I mean, Fitbit has to give you confidence to run every day. Instagram has to make you look attractive. I mean, there are all these very, very psychological and social needs that we have to address. And that technology cannot help with that. We have to focus on the user experience. And you may think, yeah, I mean, like that's a B2C type of thing, and all of us here were doing B2B because, of course, that's kind of the fashion. But it's the same with B2B as well. I mean, like, look at Slack, right? Slack succeeded because it's adopted by the users, and then the company adopts it. It's a bottom-up adoption curve. It's very different from how software was deployed 10 years ago when, I don't know, you made a big freaking contract with the CTO or the CMO, and then everyone had to use that product whether you like it or not. No, now all our users have iPhones and mobile phones, and they use all these sexy products every day, and your B2B product kind of has to compete with the best of the best in the B2C world. And you cannot do that by focusing on technology. So I think this is a very important choice that you have to make. And I'm gonna urge you to choose interface over technology. And you will see that things change significantly. Instead of talking about your stack and your cloud and your whatever machine learning prediction bullshit, focus on how does this work? The user does this, and then it does this, and then it gets this benefit, simple. And you will see that when you start with that perspective, you will get into trouble, as you should. But that's the beginnings of a great product. The last thing that I want to focus on, and again, I think it's an important choice for all of us to make. is we have to get rid of this idea that there are hacks or silver bullets. And we as Eastern Europeans, and I see myself in this group, we're so obsessed with like hidden secrets. There must be some stuff that if we do, we're gonna be successful, right? There's this hidden feature that if we adopt, we're gonna make it. And we see it all over the board. Yeah, it's features, it's marketing, it's distribution. We somehow think that success is a tweet away, or I don't know, a conference away. And I think that this is a wrong perspective. You have to choose hard work and testing, because there are no hacks, there are no shortcuts. There's no secret that you will learn that will make your products a successful product. And I also think, I mean, I blame it on how we were educated, right? It's psychological in a way. I mean, it's good for our mental health to think that, I don't know, success is just because, I don't know, some people had success just because they had access to a better book, or, I don't know, they're following the right persons on Twitter, and we now have to follow them too. So let's talk about the categories where we obsess about hacks. We obsess about hacks in terms of functionality, right? A lot of us, whether it's big companies or startups, adopt functionality because other people did it. And we have this idea that we're stealing the work. Like if it worked for Facebook, it will work for us. Because I mean, like Facebook is it's full of brilliant people and they spend billions of dollars on this. So if it worked for them, it will work for us. Or if Slack had it, I should have it, right? And this is so freaking stupid. This mentality, there are no hacks. I mean, first of all, you have to understand why they did it. What is the need that they are trying to satisfy? What's the context? And if you understand all that, which by the way, it's super hard work, you will notice that probably that's not the right feature for you. The other one is marketing. And this is in the startups camps. We believe that if we got featured on TechCrunch or hunted on Product Hunt, or some freaking influencer is gonna mention us on their Facebook feed or Twitter feed, we're gonna make it. And marketing success and adoption is an influencer away. That's not gonna happen. And that's bad from a variety of reasons. One is that you're wasting your time instead of doing like real work. And B, even if when that happens, this is not a marketing strategy. I mean, being #1 on Product Hunt for a day, it will give you like, I don't know, a few thousand people. And what are you gonna do the next day? Beg for another appearance? No, marketing is a layering of channels that you have to work and optimize. I discussed with Christy, my colleague, who's on the marketing side, like what are we doing every day? We have a shiny, high-growth, well-funded startup, and what are we doing day to day? And we're joking, of course, but it's part of the truth. We say banners, like 20 years ago. We're thinking about words, we're talking to people, see what works, testing. There's no shining, I don't know, we're hanging with the Aston Kutchers of the world, and they talk about us, and boom, we made it. No. That's stupid. And another one is distribution. And I see big companies and startups doing the same mistake. I mean, like with big companies, they have a distribution channel, and they believe that if they have access to some users, those are somehow going to adopt anything that they put forward, and that's rarely the case. This bundling strategy coming from no understanding rarely works. And startups the same, because we as startup founders, we're not really good at sales, marketing, distribution. So we think that if we make a deal with these people who have a huge channel, we're gonna make it. Well, and I've done all those mistakes. I'm not here to point finger. I've tried all of these things. I've been on TechCrunch. I've been on Product Hunt. I've been doing channel deals. And by the way, the channel deals don't work because as a startup, nobody in the world can sell your product better than you. Nobody. And if you think that, then you have a problem. I mean, you should understand your users and the value and the problems that you're solving better than some distributor where you're just a number in a spreadsheet. But implies the assumption of ownership. It's on you. You have to put this forward. You cannot delegate selling and distributing your product to someone else. I mean, they can work in as amplification, as testing, but that cannot be your marketing strategy or distribution strategy. So yeah, focus on prospects, focusing on the results. So I know I've been talking a lot about things that are kind of obvious. I mean, a lot of these things you can get in most of the books or the good blog posts out there. But these are like hard choices, and I think that if you look at what you're doing on a daily basis, a lot of us, I mean, we will discover that we're doing it wrong. We will discover that we manage the internal company more than we care about our users. We will discover that we care about technology less than what that technology does. And you may say, ah, we're different. I mean, like, come on, let's be real here. We're between girls. And the third one is hacks. And I love hacks, but they rarely work. And when you find a hack, I mean, be happy and use it. But hacks should not be your product strategy, your marketing strategy, or your distribution strategy. So yeah, let's build better products together and let's get some lunch. Thank you so much.